Hi, and welcome to a bonus edition of 10-Minute Food Truck Training. All this week, I will be doing a spin-off podcast called The Daily Dose with Helen Kramer from OurApp.io and a favorite twins, Lauren Bell and Lori Walker from Double Trouble Philly Cheesesteak Food Truck out of Houston, Texas.
Hey everybody, this is the Bill, Helen, Lori, and Lauren podcast. We're just now starting and we're excited to bring real topics, hot topics that you're thinking about asking questions about. We're going to be doing a morning podcast Monday through Friday, and hopefully you guys tune in. So we're going to let Bill kick off this week's topic.
I had one of the members of our Facebook group, Food Truck Training, they sent me a message asking me what I thought about the future of the supply chain for the next year or so, because a lot of vendors are struggling finding supplies, finding exactly what they want. You know, stores are out. We can see that every day when we go shopping ourselves, and it's no better when you go to the big restaurant chains or the big stores, for instance. So I've been looking into things that are impacting us, and it goes well beyond just everybody, changing their lifestyle because of what's happened in the last year. A couple of things that are impacting it that we don't really talk about much is the transportation and driver shortage. There was one before COVID even started, but it was little. But now, because of COVID and people are changing how they shop, for instance, people are hoarding things. I'm sure we all remember the paper towel shortage and the glove shortage, for instance, in our business. And I didn't know this till I looked it up. The average over-the-road truck driver is between 45 and 60 years old. So they're already approaching retirement. So it's only going to get worse if those guys say, hey, heck with this. I'm not going to drive anymore. I'm just going to retire.
Absolutely.
So they're getting into new businesses. So we're going to continue to have that shortage. So even when we get all those ships unloaded out in the Pacific Ocean, it's just going to sit on the docks because there's no one to pick the stuff up and bring it where it needs to go. So what are some ideas that Double Trouble might have to kind of fend off any shortages you guys are seeing?
Hi, this is Lori. Yeah, that's really, Bill, is a tough one. And actually, we're kind of navigating that as we actually go through it. I know one of the things with the food costs, and one of the challenges that we're going to be having as a food truck and mobile unit is getting into those locations where money is not as big as an issue as it is in other. You can't keep your prices. We're not going to be able to keep our prices reasonable with these prices because we're in it inadvertently to make money. And so you can't keep your prices and do that. So finding locations or newer locations where money isn't a big deal for some people, we're going to have to change locations. We're going to have to raise our prices. So that is definitely going to be challenging because we got people that come up to the truck and say $13.50 for a cheesesteak. Well, how big is it? Look, we're not raising our prices to get rich. We're raising our prices to stay in business. And so that is a challenge that we're actually navigating as we go along.
Have you guys had a shortage? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's a great point, Lori. Go for it, Lauren.
Yes, no, I was going to say one of the things with products is being flexible. One thing that we've learned going through this process is even with your products, having an A, B, and C, it's the idea that you would think that, this is the bread we use, this is what we're going to use. But what if we can't get it? We've been there. What is going to be? So constantly testing your products. If you can't get this, what are you going to go to? Don't wait until the day of you find out you can't get your product to determine, oh my God, what are we going to do? We got to get these burgers out. We have no bread. We got to get our cheesesteaks out. We have no. So consistently testing products, even when things are in stock, finding out what is your next choice if this is not available. Always testing, always on the grind, always trying to figure out what do you do next so that you can keep moving.
Yeah. From a technology standpoint, I'm going to chime in here too. So I've some of my food trucks are experiencing this issue, and what we've done with a few of them, instead of them being out like 4 or 5 days a week, they're going to like 3 days a week. They know what their inventory is. They're sending direct message alerts and saying, we have X amount of sandwiches approximately. We have, and then their customers who have downloaded their mobile app know what the prices are because they're able to use Bill's spreadsheet. And then if it fluctuates, they can update their pricing real time. And then their customer base knows where they're at. So they okay, instead of having a Philly cheesesteak on Thursday like normal, we're going to have it on Tuesday night because they're not working Thursday night or whatnot, because they're staying in direct communication. So having that technology and being able to adjust your prices real time is key, and being able to take those pre-orders. And then that way your customers who have pre-ordered, who are your loyal customers who come all the time, their sandwiches are ready to go, or their entrees are ready to go. And then, you've got, you service as many people as you can until you're basically sold out. What do you girls think about that?
Yes, I think it's going to be very important to be creative like that, Helen. And certainly our apps is definitely a thing that's helping us to stay with those times and in that technology. But that's going to be very important. We're going to have to be flexible, like Lauren said. Yes, you don't want to change around your product so much, but like you said, being able to be creative and say, look, this is our supply. And if our customers, our regulars tell us they're coming, if we have to put up a couple packs of bread just so that they get the right stuff, we're going to have to be creative, because I just believe this market and what's happening is not set up for us to be successful. We're going to have to go in and snatch it.
Yeah.
We got to be creative.
Any more final comments? Yeah, that's true. And Lauren and Bill, any more final comments before we wrap up this morning's powwow?
No, I agree with Lori. We got to snatch it.
Let's go get it.
The only comments that I would add would be, you've got to look at, a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth source so that you can find the products that people associate with your business. You can go to local farms, you can go to local butchers, local bakeries, small businesses that are just like you, that might be struggling, and might be nice for them to be supported by you, saying, I can come order 20 dozen buns this week, or I can consistently order that. And that gives them a little bit more secure cash flow, because they know, okay, I'm going to get at least this order every single week. So I need to take care of those folks. So you build a relationship with people that are close to you so that you don't run out of food as frequently. And then if you do run out, again, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh other distributor. I'm going to share one little story so we can wrap up. I was talking to a guy a couple of weeks ago. He was struggling with prices of meat, and we all know how meat has just shot through the roof. Part of his problem was he lived not too far from Chicago, so when he would order his meat, he would order 600 or 700 pounds of meat, and they would ship it to him. They would deliver it to him. He found out that if he went to Chicago and got it himself, it would be about half what it was to have it shipped. Now, of course, that cost him time and gasoline, but even adding those in, it was cheaper for him to drive and get the stuff and bring it back. So what he decided to do to make his trips worthwhile was to talk to other restaurants and other food trucks that also could benefit from the reduced pricing to help him offset his costs as far as the gasoline. So everybody wins, because he pulled his resources, drove to Chicago, got a whole bunch of meat cheap, brought it back, sold it to the other folks at a little bit of profit, but still cheaper than they could get it had they ordered it themselves.
Awesome. Bill, you're singing my language. Cut out the middleman. No more third-party No more third-party apps. Cut out the middleman, even if you have to drive and get it yourself. I think that's amazing. I love the local farmer tip, and make sure that you have an account with the extra food service providers. Those are great nuggets for this morning, and I hope everybody really enjoyed it. Has a beautiful day, and continue to be kind to one another, and God bless.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Look for the Daily Dose to premiere on its own podcast next week. Join us tomorrow, and we're going to have a whole bunch more to talk about.